Hi everybody, the next session will be about software patenting, and I think every one of you has followed the topic of it, and okay, it's rejected by the EU Parliament, but still there are still some threats, and Tomea Lombard and Andrea Rebentisch will introduce you into the topic and would like to discuss with you about this, and the topic of the talk, or let's say, yeah, it's more a talk, software patenting, adequate means of protecting for software. Okay, thank you.
I forget to mention that yesterday, and I think also today, that we are here for FFII, Foundation for Free Information Infrastructure. And they also have a regional group, and before I forget it, it's bbffii.org, and the next meeting will be 19 January 2006. I don't know where, but it will be announced on this regional group Berlin-Brandenburg here in Berlin. And they meet each 14 days in an irregular manner in Berlin here. So this is the regional group, and we are FFI Europe, so to speak. It's about, the title is Adequate Means of Protection for Software. Protection for software, patent law is one possible means of protection for software. It's an instrument. And what our discussion is about, we passed a little time because of the technical problems, but is to talk a little bit about the fundamentals of the debate, which are always useful when you discuss the issue with politicians, because it's a complicated issue and you have to understand what's wrong about it. And often with one word you can somehow then the Caesar is naked. But it's difficult to understand where the problem lies in a certain structure, and why all this is wrong, or what premises are violated. We have two different issues here. The first is the software patents debate. As we had all these discussions about software patenting in Europe, the European debate. And what we are a little bit more concerned about now is the next phase. What comes next after this debate? So last year it was all under this pressure, under this Damocles sword of this EU debate, and now we are a little bit more free. We can act more proactively in avoiding the problem of software patents, while there are still threats, but it's more difficult to mobilize people or to keep discussions ongoing when there's no such Damocles sword, because of course such imminent threat creates some awareness, and during the debate it was always like so act now, and you get this this email messages sent out, now it's really urgent, and 2 months later it was even more urgent because last time action, and one last time action followed the other. What we want to talk about a little bit more are general issues, IPR enforcement, community patent, and the other issues that also discuss the patent law on a kind of wider scale. A Ferrari is a nice car, but when you work on the field, you probably choose another model. So these are two different cars which serve two different purposes. And the patent system is also a kind of car, a kind of instrument, a kind of tool. And when you work in software, it's not really that useful. And Well, usually in the debate, this is a rhetorical trap. It was asked, what makes software so special? Of course, software is different from physical products and of the markets where the patent system traditionally is applied, and there's no such thing than an invention in the classical sense in software. But when you argue on this level, it sounds rather philosophical, or like, well, all ideas have to be free, or like that, which is not really convincing in the political level. So this is a kind of rhetorical trap to discuss about the very essence of software versus hardware and where the difference lie. But we made this propaganda piece, a computer is known a washing machine, to tell about the difference. And I think this graphic is a good description about where the problems lie, because I cannot present you a patent. It's always worth to read a patent and to try to understand the complicated language in which it is written. Usually in the text of a patent you will find a description of this graphic, which will not tell you much more about what's going on. Patents cover abstractions on a conceptual level of software, not like copyright, which is tailored to the actual code you produce, but it protects software on a conceptual level. And the question we face is, do we really need protection on a conceptual level? And if so, does patent law protect the right object? An object which is worth to get protected. We want to avoid that whole classes of programs, of solutions, so to speak, are patented so that you cannot come up with a better solution, so that competition is inhibited, which is quite difficult. Many patents on somehow complicated issues like MP3 and compression stuff, and where you could think, okay, this is rocket science, this deserves patent protection. Even in those areas, often not the real issue which we attribute to some kind of, oh, this is high level, the high level of discussions, but when you read the patent writings associated to it, it will be often more or less this style here. Like on a very general level, like you could patent, say, the moon race, and you need a rocket and you need some form of oxygen supply, and you can also create these graphics and how the rocket interacts with the power supply unit and so on. But actually this does not help you to go to the moon or to go to Mars, because this is of course the solution, but on this high abstract level it does not really matter. And the same applies that it does not really matter that conceptual thinking is often not really the problem of software development. I mean, everybody has ideas what you can implement in software, but the problem is often that you don't find the people who have the skills to implement it, and that implementation is really the problem. On an abstract level, you know what needs to be done or what could be done. And the last talk here about data retention, I think also showed it to us that politicians come up, okay, you have to store the data. This is abstract. You have to store the data, the communication data. But for an internet service provider who looks into the details, it's a little bit more complicated and creates complicated technical issues, which you cannot discuss on this abstract level. So this abstraction is really of the point and has little value on the market. I think this is also the core. Not that patents are trivial. They are not trivial per se. This is not the problem, but that they are too abstract, too general for the market. and inhibit to come up with better solutions. Yeah, our criteria, so to speak, to a perfect system, if we wanted conceptual protection, would be, and this is a very simple test, cheap, fast, and narrow. And cheap means that you don't have to pay too much. The welfare burden of the system is not that high. Fast means that the system adopts to market dynamics. The patent system, the examination lasts about 3 years, and patent protection for 20 years. Now, the software market is a very dynamic market, and when you ask professionals in the field of software, what kind of software patent do you want? And they say, well, 3 years protection would be okay. Unfortunately, the patent system is designed for 20 years. And this is really like trying to transform a Ferrari that it could work on the field and plug the field. And narrow means that the claims associated in the patent or in these protection instrument are narrowly defined and not too general, so that whole classes of programs, of solutions, of possibly better implementations are inhibited by this legal protection instrument. And copyright is a narrow protection. Actually, what you wrote, your text, your code is protected automatically. And patent protection, on the other hand, is a very broad protection instrument which protects whole classes of products. But I don't know. I think it is, and we will come back to that. And this is the word of industrial copyright. We don't want software patents, but there might be some areas, I think, of business applications and things like that, which are perhaps not innovative, but where some abstractions have to be protected. And there it could be useful to have a kind of conceptual protection, like software on a very general level, say class models or UML, things like that, to have a different protection instrument for such specified implementation. Concepts leading to implementation. Yeah, perhaps Tunea just takes over.
I'll go. Okay, now we had a short overview over the whole situation. And, well, what I want to do is give you a short number of facts and then start the discussion, because this is supposed to be a debate with you, the people who are attending this Congress. Well, first of all, we go back. What one should understand is that software patents are not just a stupid idea that came up in the European Union. It's basically an international problem that, it's also based on a lot of misinterpretation, because we do have for example, as we heard yesterday, the TRIPS agreement, which some people say does cover software, and some others think it does not. And so some people think that we have international pressure which forces us to have this means of protection for software, which is, in our opinion, inadequate. So if you clarify if we get a clarification of